Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he is not ruling out more state of emergencies. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Prime Minister Andrew Holness disclosed on Friday that the government is considering the declaration of another round of state of emergencies when the current measure expires this week. The Prime Minister, who was in Manchester, asserted that the SOE declared on December 6 have been fruitful. He said despite the criticism, the security measures have been instrumental in curbing murders, robberies, and gang conflicts. Holness again expressed hope that the parliamentary opposition will support an extension of the SOE, but he warned that his administration is prepared to go it alone to implement what he characterized as necessary security measures to protect citizens against criminals. And just so that you know, there are still at least 5 to 6 murders per day. State of emergency or no state of emergency, the murder continues. The Child Protection and Family Service Agency (CPFSA) is urging parents and guardians to be mindful of their obligations to protect their children who are out of school now on Christmas break. Director of Children and Family Programs at CPFSA, Warren Thompson, says during this time many children are left unsupervised or in the care of others, which puts them at risk of being victimized by persons who should be protecting them. His advice comes against the background of the many acts of violence being committed against children. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said Jamaica is facing a road traffic crisis based on the current rate of fatalities. Addressing a meeting of the National Road Safety Council last Thursday, Mr. Holness said a massive public education campaign will be undertaken to increase awareness of the rules of the road and to encourage safe driving to prevent loss of lives. And so far, some 448 road deaths have been recorded up to December 11. And I'm telling you, cost as much as I want. I say Jamaicans have some of the worst drivers. They learn how to drive fast, but that's all they learn to do. Just drive fast. 448 people dead since December 11th on the road. It's the 19th now, so do the figures. Following the recent surge in deadly attacks and robberies in Manchester, Prime Minister Andrew Holness declared that the security forces will be increasing their presence in the parish. In the latest incident, a supermarket operator and a bystander were killed when armed thugs carried out a robbery in Porus. Mr. Holness said that the Jamaica Defence Force has increased its presence in the parish and are conducting exercise in the town of Mandeville. Mandeville used to be the least amount of violence, and now it has become a murderous and violence-producing. Criminals from Kingston, Clarendon, St. Catharines, St. James, Westmoreland, and other crime-ridden areas who seek refuge there have turned that place upside down. And we just pray for the people in Manchester. A 22-year-old construction worker in Clarendon has been charged with forcible abduction and robbery with aggravation following an incident in Maypen, Clarendon on Saturday, January 15. He is Romeria Edwards of Osborne Store in the parish. Detectives report that about 1:50 a woman was walking along Johnson Lane in Maypen when a Nissan AD wagon with 2 men aboard drove up beside her, and it's reported that armed men ordered her to enter the vehicle. She was taken to an abandoned building where she was robbed of $13,500 and a cellular phone. It is said that the woman managed to escape and was assisted to the police station by residents where a report was made. On Monday, December 12, lawmen were on operation during the state of public emergency when Edwards was arrested, and he was positively pointed out during an identification parade on Friday, December 16, and subsequently charged. 2 of the 26 people listed as persons of interest by the Kingston Western Police in connection with the recent flare-up of violence in the division are now in custody. Lester Coke and his relative Raheem Coke last week surrendered to the police in the company of their attorneys, and this was confirmed by Senior Superintendent Michael Phillips, commanding officer for the Kingston Western Police Division. He said the men will be questioned in relation to murders and shootings in the division. The Kingston Western Police published the list of 26 persons 2 weeks ago, claiming that the men who are reportedly aligned to gangs in the division were involved in the recent spate of murders and shootings in downtown Kingston. Meanwhile, a 56-year-old businessman who was reportedly working towards improving his life after a recent run-in with the law was shot and killed in Snow Hill in Portland on Saturday. Courtney Alexander Clark, otherwise called Frank, is the 12th person to be killed in the northeastern parish this year. Police reports are that about 1 a.m., Clark was closing his corner shop in the Snow Hill community when he was approached by gunmen and was shot several times. He was assisted to hospital where he was pronounced dead. And sources familiar with the deceased said he recently started his business and was determined to continue on the right path following a criminal conviction. However, that dream was dashed on Saturday morning. The police are now probing that development. A man was arrested on Saturday in connection with the seizure of an illegal firearm and several rounds of ammunition in Rosetown and Kingston 13. Reports from the Denham Town Police are that about 5 a.m. an operation was conducted at Harris Street in the community. During the search of the premises, a high-point 9mm pistol and 8 9mm rounds of ammunition were seized. The man, whose identity is being withheld pending further investigation, was subsequently taken into custody. Meanwhile, a woman is dead and another woman injured arising from a domestic dispute on Friday night in Bull Bay in St. Andrew. And it's reported that about 8:30 p.m., 42-year-old Sonia Campbell of Version Gully and her common-law partner had a dispute during which a machete was used to chop her several times all over her body. The other woman, who saw what was going on, intervened and was also chopped. They were both taken to the hospital where Miss Campbell died of her wounds. And the police are now appealing to the suspect to turn himself in to the Elliston Road police immediately. And them are money vicious these days. Them chop up two women just like that. But the problem really is the sentence that they get for these vicious types of murder. If the victim family is lucky, this man, when he gets caught, might probably get about 10 years in jail, because it seems people are rewarded for murder in Jamaica. Over here in the United States, 18 people were put to death by either hanging or lethal injection this year, which is probably the lowest in history. But at least that's 18 who will not be eating taxpayers' money or even be allowed to come out and kill again. Only Jamaican government afraid of this stupid human rights group who tell you how much murderers have rights too. Did the victims have human rights when they were being murdered? I guess not. Onto sports. After 17 years and actually winning every championship, Lionel Messi finally won the greatest show on earth, the FIFA World Cup, yesterday. However, it took him full time and under half hour of overtime plus shootout to show class and grit, scoring 3 goals to lift that trophy. Matching him was 23-year-old Kylian Mbappe from France, who scored 3 times as well. And at full time, both teams were tied 2-2, but in extra time, both teams added 1 goal apiece, sending the game to penalty shootout, dubbing this to be the greatest World Cup finals ever. Argentina goalkeeper came up big, saving 2 goals, making a difference, with Argentina scoring 4 penalties and taking the trophy and $42 million. France for second place received $30 million, which is a nice sum for second place. Meantime, Croatia defeated Morocco 2-1 in the World Cup third place playoff on Saturday, with Mislav Orsic curling home the winner. Orsic's terrific curling strike late in the first half ensured that Croatia took home the bronze medal. The 11th World Cup in a row a European team has finished third. Third place winner got $27 million. But we also have to praise Morocco, as they became the first African semifinalists in World Cup history, and they received $25 million. The United States, meanwhile, received $13 million for making the top 16. And this is a very fruitful World Cup. Jamaica, a phone time next. There is no way that Jamaica can be out of the next World Cup, because it's so easy. They don't have nobody to play in the next World Cup to qualify. I kid you not. Anyway, that's news and sports on your favorite community radio. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.